Hi everyone, welcome back to my TechSupper channel. Today, in this video, I am going to cover a very important concept of Oracle integration, which is called message packs, on which your billing depends of Oracle integration. So in this video, in a short video, I'm going to explain what message packs are, how your billing works with various examples. So before I start, guys, I will request everyone to subscribe my channel to get regular updates of my YouTube channel. You can also look at my Visual Builder book, which is launched recently, and the publisher is packed. If you want to learn Visual Builder with a lot of real-time examples, the book is one of the Bible for the Visual Builder and help you to learn a lot of things. Okay, so let's get started. What message pack and how YC billing works. Oracle integration billing depends on the message pack you provide while provisioning the instance. So when you create the Oracle integration instance, you need to give a couple of information like message pack, license type, the integration name, and the other thing. The most important thing, while you create the integration, Oracle integration instance, which is called message pack, and wherein your billing depends. The minimum message pack for Oracle integration is one. At least the one message pack you need to give when you create the instance. The maximum number of message pack depends on the license type. So when you create the Oracle integration instance, you also need to choose the license type. Oracle gives you a flexibility to choose the licenses. I will talk about the licenses also. And when you create the message pack, you also need to choose, when you create the Oracle integration instance, you need to choose the license type. And depending on the license type, you can provide the maximum number of messages pack. So here there are two types of licenses which is offered by Oracle. One is called new license, means the customer don't have any licenses. So in that case, customer have to opt the new license. So if you opt that new license, the bare minimum is 1. So 1 will be there by default. Maximum message pack can be 12. You cannot go beyond that. And what is one message pack? Let's suppose you have entered one message pack. How many messages can flow on a Oracle integration? And one message pack equates to 5K, means 5,000 messages. What messages? A message is nothing. It is the payload size of your integration in and out. So a message can be an order, a message can be an employee detail, a message can be an invoicing detail. And when you send a message to the Oracle integration, it converts into the XML payload. The payload can be a 50 KB payload. The payload can be a 1 KB payload. The payload can be a 10 MB of payload. And each and every message will be counted as a message if the each one message equates to 50 KB. If it is going beyond, let's suppose one message is equals to 67 KB, then it will be counted 2 messages, not message pack. Means one message pack equals to 5 KB and each message is of 50 KB. There are another type of license which is called bring your own license. What does it mean? If customer is having their on-prem middleware licenses, they can apply these licenses. Minimum is 1 and maximum is 3. And here one message pack means 20K, means 20,000 messages. Here also the same formula will apply. One message equates to 50 KB message equates to one message. But here in this type of license, maximum 3 means 20 multiplied by 3, 60K message. Same here, 12 multiplied by 60K messages in a single hour. What is the pricing? The pricing is based on the number of message pack per hour. You can have one message pack, you can have 2 message pack, you can have 3 up to 12, depend on your license. So how? So there are different type of what we say additions as well. One is standard and second is enterprise. If we go with new license and you opt the standard, it will be $0.6452. It is one message pack per hour. So one message pack hour will be billed $0.6452. If you go with standard and you choose the license as a BYOL, bring your own license, then the cost will be $0.3226. Again, one message pack per hour will cost you 0.3226. The enterprise, if you go to the enterprise and you choose new license, the pricing will be 1.2903. Again, if you go to the enterprise BYOL, the pricing is same for the standard as well as the enterprise. For if the customer is having the on-prem license, they can choose the BYOL type of licenses and the billing will very less. And you can also refer this https://www.oracle.com/in/cloud/price-list.html to look at the current pricing. So the pricing are as of day to day. So if you want to see the latest pricing, you can always refer this link. So let me just take an example how much you need to pay. So let's suppose unit price I have already. So this is your unit pricing. Okay. So let's suppose you have created your instance with one message pack. So how much you need to pay for a single day? So for a standard, you need to pay $15.4848. Standard BYOL, it will remain the same for standard as well as the enterprise, 7.7424. But for enterprise, it will 30.9672. It is for one message pack, one day. And if you are taking one message pack for 31 days, then for standard, it will 480.2080288. Standard BYOL and enterprise BYOL will remain the same, 240.0114. You can see it is exactly the half of the standard new license. Enterprise 959.98232. If you go with two message pack, the billing will be doubled. Obviously, for the one day, it will double of the one message pack, like 30.9696, BYOL 15.4848, enterprise 61.9344, and enterprise 15.4848. So the standard BYOL, enterprise BYOL will remain the same. Two message packs, 31 days, 960. For standard BYOL, it is 480. And for enterprise, it will be 1919. So this is how your billing works. Now, let me just walk you through how message counts. Okay, I was explaining you like for the integration, 50 KB payload equates to one message. What payload? Payload is nothing. It is just like a message, like your order, your invoice, employee detail, your opportunity detail, your customer detail. That is called payload. Let's suppose you are sending the first name, last name, username, the email address, the address. Okay, that is your payload, means the employee information, and these information will be translated into the XML, and we'll see how much KB it will coming up. If it is 50 KB, then only one message will be detected. Means if you have one message pack and in an hour, you have only one integration of 50 KB payload, then only one message will be detected and you will have remaining 4,999. So, Oracle integration has different features, and another feature is Visual Builder, how the messages will be counted for the Visual Builder. It is basis on the users. Okay, concurrent users. If you have one concurrent user per hour, then your 100 messages will be deducted. If you have 10 concurrent users, then 1,000 messages. Means 50 concurrent users, means one message pack can handle 50 concurrent users per hour on a Visual Builder, if you are only using Visual Builder. Okay. If you are using process, then one concurrent user per hour equates to 400. It's 4 times of your Visual Builder. If two concurrent users, then it will be 800. messages will be deducted per hour. Let's suppose on the process someone logs in and do some activity. Okay, then let's suppose he has logged in for 5 minutes only and then logs out and then comes back, means after 1 hour or so, then also the 400 messages will be deducted. If he comes after 1 hour, then also it will be counted another session and then 400 messages will be deducted. Same case for the visual builder too. Visual builder, let's suppose you have created lots of many pages, doesn't matter. Matters is concurrency of the users. Integration insight. So you have another feature called integration insight, and each business transaction equates to one message in case of integration insights. That is how your message are counts. So now let me just take a few examples of the integration, how messages will be calculated. Let's suppose you have the Oracle integration. You have started created the integration. So let's suppose you have created one REST API. Okay. And in that REST API, you are sending a payload and the payload is of 47 KB. Then in this case, one inbound message counted at least one message up to 50 KB. Whether you are sending a payload or not, doesn't matter. Always one message will be deducted. And if it is going beyond 50 KB or 100 KB, then it will be counted as a one additional message for each additional 50 KB. So in this example, let's suppose you have created one REST or SOAP, or you are getting some events, or you are calling the data. Then if it is a 47K payload, then for the trigger case, if you do seal 47 divided by 50, one message. So one message will be deducted from your 5,000 messages if you have one message pack for that hour. Example 2. Let's suppose you again have the REST API or the SOAP API or the event base, which triggers your Oracle integration. And in this case, you got a payload of 107 KB and you invoke the database, means the external system. So for any outbound call, no message is counted until the response is received, means the synchronous. Here you have only one way, you are only sending the request to the DB. Then in this case, how many messages will be counted? For the trigger case, if you do 107 divided by 50, then it will come to 3 messages. But for the invoke, since you are not receiving any response from DB, so nothing will be counted. So in the whole integration, only 3 messages will be deducted. Another example. In this case, if you have trigger, it might be a REST trigger, it might be a SOAP, it might be events, right? If the message payload is 67 KB, you are calling the database, and in this integration, you are getting a message payload of 48 KB. Let's see. For any outbound call, the response payload is counted only for messages if and only if this payload is going beyond the 50 KB. Two conditions, means you have not received any response from the external call, no message will be counted. Even if you receive the response and the payload falls within the 50 KB limit, then also the message will not be counted. Okay, and here in this case, how many messages will be deducted? One trigger, 67 divided by 50, 2 messages. And for this invoke, since you have received response, but it is only 48 KB within the 50 KB limit, nothing will be counted. Example 4. So let's suppose here in this case, let's suppose you have REST, SOAP, or events. Okay, and here you are getting a trigger and the payload is 67 KB. And here you are calling the database. But in this case, you are receiving the response of 68 KB, which is going beyond the 50 KB. Then in this case, how many messages will be deducted? 67, this figure divided by 50, it will come 2 messages, and 68 messages, 68 KB payload, 68 divided by 50 means 2 messages. In total, in this scenario, 4 messages will be deducted from your message pack. Another example, we have a couple of examples. I will explain each and everything because there might be different scenarios. So here again, let's consider the same type of scenario wherein you have the trigger. It might be REST, SOAP, and then events. And you are calling the database. And here you are receiving the response of 40 KB. Then again, similarly, only one message will be counted. Another example, let's suppose you have the database and you are polling the database, and in the single poll you are getting 2 rows, and each row and both the rows are coming as a 10 KB. Okay, let's suppose you are calling the third party system in the loop for each and every record, and for first record you are getting a response of 29 KB. For the second call you are getting a response of 67 KB. Consider 2 rows of 10 KB are fetched from database polling, and for each records the files are pulled from external system, each of 29 KB and another of 67 KB. Then in that case, how many messages? 10 divided by 50, one message, and 29 KB will not be considered because it is within the limit of 50 KB, but 67 will be considered. 67 divided by 50 equals to 2 messages, and in total 3 build messages. Let's take another example. Let's take now schedule integration, how it works in the schedules. So let's suppose you have one schedule integration up and running, and you are calling a third party system and you have received a response of 40 KB. Okay, then also in that case, nothing will be deducted because you are calling a third party system, nothing will be deducted, but here you are getting the response, but it is of 40 KB, then 0 message will be counted. So nothing. Here, another example. Let's suppose you are calling that third party system from your schedule integration. And here in this case, you are getting a 120 KB payload. Now here, how many messages? Here, 3 messages, because the payload which you are receiving, it's going beyond the 50 KB. And then if you do 120 divided by 50, you will get 3, and total 3 messages. What is the another example? So here, let's suppose you have the database, Oracle integration, the schedule integration. You are calling the database, you are not, and you are calling the database multiple times, let's say 2 times. Okay, and in each and every call, you are getting a response 29 KB and another is 48 KB. Then you call the third party system and you receive a response of 10 bytes. Okay, a schedule integration calls the database in the loop and receive responses of 29 and 48 KB. The data is sent to the third party system and receives a response of 10 bytes. So in this case, because the responses are within the limit of 50 KB, in this case, nothing will be counted. And here also nothing will be counted because everything within the limit of this thing limit. What is the rule number? Example 10. Here, again, the same kind of example. In this case, you are calling database 3 times, okay, in the loop. In that, you are getting responses 29 KB, 65 KB, and 130 KB. Means one response within the limit and 2 responses going beyond to the 50 KB. And here you are calling the third party system and you have received a response of 51 KB. Then here, if you see 65 KB and 130 KB, if you do DB call 2 messages for the 65 KB and for 130, it will be 3 messages. And for this invoke, the third party system invoke, it will be 2 messages. So 2, 3, 5 and 2, 7. So in total, 7 messages will be deducted from your message pack for that particular hour. Another rule, so you might be knowing that from the integration, you can call child integration using the integration action, not using the REST based API. Okay. So here, if you're using that integration action and you're calling the child integration, and that child integration in turn call the database, and it sends the response back to 23 KB to the child integration only. And then parent integration call another third party system and receives a response of 10 KB. So how many messages will be counted? So for Oracle integration to call child integration via the integration action, so that call will be waived off and nothing will be counted because it's internal call to internal. So Oracle will not charge anything. And Oracle integration is calling the database, but it is sending the response 23 KB, means nothing will be counted. Child invoke, no message. DB call, no message. And third party system, again, nothing will be charged because you have received the response within the 50 KB limit. Then total 0. Another rule, another example here. Oracle integration, again, call a child integration, invoke the database, gets a response of 56 KB, and invokes a third party system and receives a 10 KB response. So here, only this message will be counted because it is going beyond the 50 KB. Nothing will be counted if you are calling Oracle integration to another child integration. DB call, you are receiving the response of 56 KB, then 2 messages. But for this, nothing will be charged because it's within the limit of 10 KB. So 0 message counted. So total 2. Another example. Okay. So another example is publisher to subscriber. So you have the publisher and subscriber patterns as well. So how the things will work. So let's suppose you have one publisher integration. It can be called by the REST, SOAP, or the events. Okay. Let's suppose you receive a message of 47 KB, which in turns automatically subscriber will get called. Okay. And subscriber may call the database system and you will not receive response to the subscriber back. Okay. So publisher receives a message, a subscriber gets fired, which calls the DB system. So here trigger, same rule will apply 47 KB for, I told you, right? For each trigger, the message, one message will be counted at least, right? 47 divided by 50, one message, 0 message counted because if you are calling the subscriber, it is like again calling the child integration. Okay, it will be called automatically and Oracle will waive off this call. Nothing will be charged if you have multiple subscriber even, right? 0 message counted, but again subscriber will call that data, means the external system. Then the same rule will apply if there is a response within the limit of 50 KB, nothing will be counted. And here in this case, in the whole scenario, only one message will be counted. Example 14, the last example here. Again, publisher example, 47 KB in the trigger. You call the subscriber will be fired automatically. And here you are receiving a response of 60 KB. Okay. So in this case, 47 KB means one message, and for the 60 KB, 2 messages, and in total 3 messages. So these are the various examples. You can go through multiple times to know better how many messages will be detected. So maybe there might be different other scenarios. Now you can take all these scenarios and count how many messages will be detected from your message back for the single integration. So I hope you understood how messages are calculated on your Oracle integration. I hope you guys like the video. If you like the video, please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe my channel to get latest notification of my YouTube channel. You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. You can see my blog, www.techsupper.com. Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.